April 20th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 2.
Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly, recovered?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regaining consciousness. Perhaps we can hear her version of the events again. That's the thing, you see. She's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne.
Sadly, fatigued is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand.
Very well, the witness will take the stand.
Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser.
Not. Name's Olga Orley. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. Here we go.
My gosh.
What's on her neck?
That's the camera.
Yeah. There's a camera there. People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley. Oh really? Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like, oh, really?
Oh, it is! You were right! Oh, really, Olga?
There, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied.
Interesting.
Witness, you will tell the court what you're really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see? Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bull Club several days prior to the night of the game.
So she is a newer employee.
Maybe that's why Phoenix knew she was a different person, and the fourth person might actually be the real one.
Nah, that wouldn't really make sense.
You don't think so? Because if Phoenix was working there for 7 years...
There has to be a separate person, because why would they get the color wrong like that? The person doing the card swap has to be someone that didn't know the deck colors.
Interesting then. As a witness, so they were in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed any help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But the winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. Figured. The plan was simple, elegant really, you see. We set up a trap of sorts. It was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand. And then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. You swapped the cards. I don't know, it's the victim. Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of it, who would have made a great double play? Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cost down on all his prior wins. A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan.
But something went wrong, didn't it? Oh really, oh really? How true. But it appears you made quite a mistake.
A mistake?
I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet, what happened to the planted card?
Hey, that's right. He's lucky, I'll give him that. Maybe he put it back in. You'd have to be slipped free from a trap laid by Olga Quick Fingers O'Reilly. Oh, really?
These O'Reilly puns are gonna get annoying very fast.
Oh, really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick. Cute? He wants to be cute. I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. Like bad guy? When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court? Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. We're gonna get some real shit here. I think the music's gonna pick up.
Not yet. It'll pick up in probably the next testimony or the one after.
That night I planted the card like I was supposed to, yeah? And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, and he found no card.
Yeah, look at Phoenix's smug face where he's like, yeah, go ahead, pat me down.
But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it.
Why?
That's out of place.
Why would he do that? He
It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant.
You're accusing him of cheating. You're trying to set him up as a cheater. What are you talking about?
We got some presses to do. Surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark. The trap was perfect, I tell you. Perfect, if that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking. Well, the testimony for what it's worth is all yours, Mr. Justice. With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors?
Oh.
The planted card. Which card was it exactly? What?
Why would the five of hearts be a trump card?
Check the photos real quick. Not that one, but like the table photo.
Well, looking at this, like a 5 wouldn't affect that hand in any way.
Is there a 5 on the floor?
Well, you can't really see the floor on this one.
And what about the photo of the guy in the back that includes the floor? That one there. There's a 5 of diamonds down there.
Can't really tell.
Yeah, I don't think this matters, but we'd have to search for that card. Okay, trump card, the 5 of hearts. Let me guess, Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5, which the ace to make a full house.
Oh, I guess the card doesn't really matter because it's the one he swapped out.
Yeah.
He swapped that 5 out into his pocket for an ace he had in there. So we need to see his cards. Why can't we see his cards too? Because we need to see, like, is there any color difference?
At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend. I slid it into Wright's pocket. When was this? Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating. Oh! At the Borscht Ball Club, we served borscht and suckers. Remind me never to go there. Of course, the card was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, the good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. And Wright lost the last hand just when he was supposed to, then Smith researched him. So everything went according to plan? Exactly. The 5th ace came up, and so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in its pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud. There are two worse things to be known as, I suppose.
What if Phoenix caught on, and that extra ace is in the victim's pocket? Because Phoenix is like, hey, and moved pockets.
That has feasibility too. There's also a possibility that he recognized the card, took a look at it, and then discarded it back into Olga's pile with the blue deck.
What if it was a blue 5, and that's the card that's on top of the deck?
That could very much
So,
be
like,
it.
why
right?
is the top blue, but supposedly they were doing the round in red? Like, that's what's throwing me off here. Is, like, the top was blue, 4 of the victim's cards are red. It's like, what's going on?
Tell us what happened with the search. Found a card was gone. The trap failed. The card disappeared. Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of Hearts. Gone without a trace. Poof, his Zippo. We searched every nook and cranny. Even inside his cute little hat. But the card was nowhere to be found. Is this correct? Never in my long, storied career. Never has Quick Fingers really been so readily duped. Oh really? So what did happen to that 5 of Hearts? Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? So the 5 of Hearts is still missing in action. Wait. Revelation.
Oh, we got...
Can you go back and look at the cell phone?
Is it in here? Did Phoenix move it into the back of the phone?
Can you open it? Like
No, it won't let us.
Okay. My prediction lies that it's folded in there.
That would be funny as heck. Like, he found it and, like, he folded it up and moved it and put it in there.
But he would have had to put it in right when he was calling.
Wait. Maybe that's why this piece of tape is there. Because with the card back there, it's not enough room for it to properly close. So he put that tape on there to help keep it down.
He would have had to notice it and toss it in there. They wouldn't search it, right?
They wouldn't search the back
Why
of the phone. Why would they?
Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Ryder thoroughly and found nothing. Which means he didn't cheat. Which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... Huh?
What was that?
Oh, back of the neck, back of the neck.
He's touching the back of the neck, and Apollo
What was that
noticed
just
it.
now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice?
This is
No,
what Phoenix
nothing,
is
Your
talking
Honor.
about. His power. Maybe Apollo has like an innate ability tied to like a Magatama of sorts. Like, remember the Magatama that added in Justice for All, where he can see Cyclops and like can tell if people are hiding the truth. What if he has just an innate ability to do it? That would be something. Because that would eliminate the need to have a Magatama, because Apollo can just do it.
True. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Yes.
Press her hard.
Miss O'Reilly, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You? Me? Quick Fingers? Oh, really? Hide something?
Objection! That his friends will refrain from baseless accusations.
I have one question for the witness, then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Wright hit him. Back of the neck. With my own eyes, I saw it. The back of the neck. What is this weird vibe I'm getting?
The witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly.
Sorry, I got immersed. Don't ask.
She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice?
Touching her neck, was it? Whoa, what's going on? This sensation. It's coming into focus. There, that twitch. It's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit, like I couldn't before.
Oh, I have to...
Gotcha!
You have to actually press a button.
I had to, yeah.
Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you're unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what?
What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort.
When she says that part of her testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to this memory as she touches her neck.
Is there a mark on the back of her neck?
I'm sure.
Did the victim attack her and she did it in self-defense?
That would do it.
A memory? What? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
This is highly unusual, but let me ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory. Just show us. Scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her of the moment of the crime? Most about the moment of the crime. Miss O'Reilly, whatever you call the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happen when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. Did he pull the locket off her? I believe the weapon that left an inseparable impression on your neck is this. Can you check his hands after he died?
Don't have... Okay, wait. Yeah, we don't see his hands.
In the big photo, he is.
Nope, his hands off screen.
There's no mark on the ledge in the window either?
Doesn't look like it. Maybe she was attacked with the bottle first, and then she took it from him and it did him in.
But she had to grab the prints of Wright somehow. She does have gloves.
Mr. Wright could have been the one to bring it down. So that would be where
True.
her prints are. And if she was dressed as the imbecile, or well, as her Miss Orley, like she had gloves on, so she wouldn't have left prints.
Yeah, it had to be during the search as well, right? Because it was post-search that he would have been attacked. Because I'm having trouble discerning whether Wright was there at the moment of the murder or not.
He's got the pendant there.
Can you zoom in on the food real quick? Two places I want you to check out. The first one is the food there. That probably doesn't matter. And then go to the left of the under the table side. I want to see. Okay, what's that little Okay, that's a chair bottom there. Never mind.
Yeah, that's part of the piano. Yeah, like, I don't get why
And
this... I think this photo's only relevant to show, like, he had the pendant beforehand.
Yeah.
Or a pendant of some kind.
I think we have to point out this evidence with the pendant, but I would save before you do that.
I don't think it can save here. Yeah, I can't save, so...
Okay.
I
We'll go with your bottle first, and then
I feel like the bottle might be it.
I feel like if you had the pendant on...
Also, this bottle has a cap on it.
Yeah. Wait, you can check something out?
Well, it just says
Can you
no...
rip off the label?
It just says no clues here. There's no check mark.
Okay.
Wait, we can.
How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht.
Okay, it's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing.
I think it's the locket because if you rip the locket off somebody, the pain's in the back of the neck.
But we don't have the locket as evidence. That's the problem.
It's in a picture though, but...
But that doesn't... I don't know if that helps. I feel like the bottle makes the most sense.
All right, let's go with the bottle, and then we'll do my solution after. Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And that reminds us more of the moment than this bottle, the mermaid weapon. Okay, so we are correct with the bottle.
Yeah, because I feel like he used it on her because her job was to make sure Phoenix was dubbed a cheater, and because the card was gone, she failed in that regard. So he attacks her, and then she takes the bottle self-defense.
Likely.
And hits him back. And maybe that's why Phoenix is so coy about it, because he's like, it's self-defense, it's not murder, whatever.
But something doesn't fit. If you're the only witness of the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain?
What are you talking about now?
It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit, not you.
This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant. Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused. This is certainly a unique cross-examination.
I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss O'Reilly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. Yeah.
Wait.
I am knowing nothing.
And everyone's just like, what?
We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please, now. Bah, fine.
Here we go.
He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops got there.
It's picked
Yes,
up.
you did.
Yeah, we'll press her on this, but
You seem uneasy. You try standing up here. Your eyes are darting all over the place. It must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at the table until the cops came.
Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of the witness. So what do you think about her testimony?
Flawed.
Yeah, definitely flawed. There's a huge flaw.
It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence.
What's that?
Well, Show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts the testimony. You didn't let him out of her sight until the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that.
It's got to be the phone. Used by the defendant to notify the police at the restaurant's first floor.
Miss O'Reilly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. Eh? And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. So explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Eek. Takes photos, selfies. The man who picked up the bottle and swung it out that night wasn't a defendant. You dirty cheat. Check his pockets now. It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to right. And he hit me.
So I was right. He did attack her.
You, some master of cheating you turned out to be. Eek. When I came to, the victim was already dead. Is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. It came out like that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. But we have a problem. If she was out... Well, where does this leave us?
Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming. It must have been me who was hit with the bottle. I'm imagining all of this.
It appears the prosecution is at its wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir?
I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss O'Reilly a big, fat liar.
What?
Three were in the room that night of the murder. The defendant, the victim, and her. And she has a motive.
A motive?
Her plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder.
What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me.
What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process.
Mr. Wright?
Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider other possibility? That there was another person in a room at the time of the murder. We were talking about that.
Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess.
A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know the two colors of the cards being used. a forced person. Objection! Ha! The Siri again. Your forced person doesn't exist. Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. So, is Phoenix in wait.
I think Gavin was there. I don't know why.
What? Thinking about this a little bit different. What if Phoenix went... Like, I don't remember the call at the beginning of the game. If Phoenix specifically said there was a murder. What if, like, he saw the attack and he went to get the cops? So, like, it could settle the situation. But someone else was down there and he didn't see them and they got in there or something. Maybe? I don't know. Let's find out.
Considering the room layout, there is that window, right? He went upstairs, and from that point, he's focused entirely on the phone in an entire big restaurant, right? So there could have been people upstairs because restaurants tend to be big. That being said, there is a vase behind him in a glass shelving unit, right? And then there's another dresser on the far top right of the room. Right, there's a door that enters you in, and a window, and potentially a place under the stair set to hide. So, the idea is someone keeping watch, though.
Yeah. And more luck. A clue to the criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. Right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about.
One of the photos. Sorry? That was one of the first ones given.
There's no one else in this photo. Remember what I said. The fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error.
He or she wasn't considering the color in the back of the cards.
Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there's one person in our court who thought the cards were blue. It is Christopher! Christopher made comments about the cards being blue and he was confused. Wait, they're red?
Yep.
What? Christopher, no! No, Chris, no! No, don't do it!
Yeah, I had that impression too, but why?
No! Chris!
The judge also thought they were blue as well, but I mean...
Well, Apollo, you think you can figure out who it was? It's not me, I swear! Who is? Who is it? Who is the girl?
I dare you to just implicate the judge. I think it would be so funny.
I don't think you can. I think it's gonna pull up profiles.
I'd always get put in the spot like this.
Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards were used in the final game were blue? It's gotta be Christopher. I'm positive he made comments about the cards being blue. Like, he was so confused, like, when we saw the back of cards, like, wait, deck was red? Because, think about, okay, we can't go to evidence, because the same thing I called out, the top of the deck is blue.
Yeah.
The dealer's deck, the top card was blue. That's probably why he thought it was blue, and why he was so confused. I'm sure you concur, right?
Yeah, I do concur. It's funny. I want to implicate the judge because I think it's hilarious.
Christopher seems so awesome, though. What's going on? As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right?
I was right?
We just keep interrupting each other. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've lost count.
Great.
Christopher Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But of course,
Of course, Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards.
How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue. The ones on the floor or the tape.
But look! You can see the colors in this photo.
Yes, but when he said the cards were blue,
Was well before.
it was well before that evidence came to light. Chris! It is true that the defendant was engaged
He
in a
did
game of
say
poker
that.
with the victim. Yet it was only that. A game. A pure sense. A competition, Your Honor. A competition? Yes. A test of wits. A silent clash of passion. Only the cards. Their backs wreathed in blue flame. Know its final outcome. Oh
Lord.
my gosh. This game's starting off like a banger. Oh my gosh. Well, Christoph?
Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter?
No, nothing new. Excuse me. It was just so sudden. Right. You weren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christopher. You know even I'd never take a joke this far. This has gone beyond ridiculous. Beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder. I assure you I'm quite sane. But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met. How do you know that? Well, what if they have? Huh? There's a possibility, after all. They may have met that night, before the game started.
What are you suggesting? Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do.
Objection!
Yeah.
The defense would like no request. Would like to request no such thing. Christopher, I'm the head defense attorney. You have no say here. Get out of here.
Mr. Gavin.
Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before the game of poker be related? The moments leading up to the crime are always important. That is such a basic rule of law. Christopher, you would know that.
Not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained before, the defense believes that really.
Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is a defense, not you.
Yes, thank you, Judge, for pointing out the thing that he is not the head attorney here. He is not. Apollo is. Christopher has no say here.
Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
Absolutely. We need to hear this. I 100% think we need to. It's like, this is the moment where, like, Phoenix can, like, now that we've been able to point towards Gavin, like, we need to hear his testimony now.
That was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court.
It too, Justice. You would betray me, your teacher.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take a stand, please.
That evening, Christopher and I had... Oh, Christopher was there the whole time. That evening, Christopher and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Is that meant to say Mr. Smith, not Christopher? Because we don't see Christopher.
He's not in the photo at all.
Christopher's not in this photo. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christopher left. So maybe it's to say the table or picture is where Christopher was.
That food's important then.
When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin.
And the phone rang. If that's true, the phone rang, right? So it had to make a noise in the place he called. Mr. Gavin! You were at the Borscht Blow Club the night of the murder?
I dine with him rather frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong.
Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
Justice.
Sir?
He's lying, and you're going to expose him. I don't think Phoenix is lying. I think Phoenix is telling the truth.
Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial?
Because this is Ace Attorney. You cannot have a normal trial here. So that even Christopher and I had dinner. We sat at the table in a photograph.
I would press that. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin.
Yes, he dines with me at Borscht Club quite often. Quite frequently. We usually enjoy dinner at our usual spot, as usual.
Usually.
I always eat at the table closest to the piano.
I see, so where Mr. Smith was sitting.
So the plates and such on the table were from your dinner? Indeed.
Indeed, the remnants of a...
Indeed, the remnants of my meal was Christopher. We dined for 2 hours, then Christopher left. After that, Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christopher left.
5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time.
That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure. Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Christopher Gavin and Shady Smith may have met. I believe I did say that. Here I was, all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear they just passed in the hall.
That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder.
Oh, it would be, if it were all that really happened.
Come on, Mr. Wright, what are you hiding this time?
When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress.
About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga really mentioned.
We've already seen all this. Yes, a harmless prank, in essence. It's by a quirk of fate that I discovered it. I happened to discover it. A quirk. I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found the card. Of course he did. Like, they put it in... He keeps putting his hands in his pocket. What would make you think he wouldn't do that in between the time you planted it and got to the game? Like, come on. That's stupid. He would have found it so easily.
The card she planted?
Yes. I snuck a peek at it and I found it. It was the 5 of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Did he put it in his pocket?
No, the card's not on. Phoenix got the card off of him completely, I think is what he's saying there. Because he couldn't have kept it in his pocket because they, like, after they searched the pockets they put it in, they searched everywhere else on his body for the card too.
But I'm like, what if he put it onto the defense attorney guy? Onto
Gavin?
Yeah.
Like, well, it would depend on when. Like,
they were sitting at the same
planted
table,
it.
though.
We don't know when she planted it, though.
Yeah.
If she planted it, like, the day Phoenix got there and he found it, like, he could have passed it off to Gavin later, improving Gavin was there. But I don't think Gavin's denying being at the restaurant at all.
True.
I don't think he specifically said, I was never there. It's in the grape juice? Don't tell me we can... Don't... No, hold on. There's no... Is it behind the label or something? Well, you can't really tell.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
This is a different bottle. What if that's a different bottle, then? It's one from upstairs that Phoenix had been using. And then this is... The murder weapon bottle was a different one that Gavin brought down with him. Because if Gavin wasn't in the room during the cards, Gavin wouldn't know this bottle was already down there.
Check the photo of the two guys talking.
But also, like,
right.
I don't know if it matters. This bottle has a cap on it.
Yeah.
This one doesn't.
Not this one. Check the other photo real quick. Check the back counter of the one photo. Go back one more. Like, there's a grape juice bottle on the top left. And then there's clearly a gap there. I don't know why, it's just funny.
I don't know if that would be relevant, though. Threw the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice. The murder weapon! The murder weapon! It's in there! Even though we can't see it. But it's in there, apparently! Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The color glass makes it hard to see.
A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama. A card inside a murder weapon. That's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look.
Like, we looked at it, but we couldn't see it in there.
Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information.
No, I think there's no card in there, and that fact is going to prove that someone else had to come. Because if it's not in the bottle that was on the table, someone switched it.
The bottle's elsewhere. Give it another check just in case. But yeah, there's nothing in there.
Bottle is completely empty.
That's all we need.
And I think we just present it.
Yep.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, if I may.
Yes?
I've examined the bottle and I don't see any card in here.
No?
What, Mr. Wright? Surely isn't all you have to say for yourself.
Can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle. However, someone switched it. Perhaps a fifth person came and took it out. Oh, and a sixth person could have helped. Christopher, shut up.
Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client.
My apologies, Your Honor. I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing.
So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh.
Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO.
Why do I get the feeling we're out on our client's side? We're not on our client's side anymore. Yeah, we need to see when he we pushed that one, right?
Yeah. We pressed this one and then updated to specify where he put the card.
Yeah. Uncontrollable. You made the call from the police on the first floor of the restaurant, correct?
Exactly. Cell phones don't get signaled down in the hideout.
Was anyone else on the first floor at the time?
Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making a call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead.
So that's a bloodline that he was leaning back in
Wait.
a chair.
It has to be a different bottle than because if there's blood on his head, where's the blood on the bottle?
And when he returned, the victim was already
Dead. Yes. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in.
a little.
He was bleeding from his forehead after all.
I guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that. Also, the waitress was out, so who did it to him? That's
So-
when they made another phone call to
Yes.
defense attorney Gavin. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin?
I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair. And I figured Christopher's law offices would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Yeah, because it's a running gag that we never get paid for our lawyer work.
I'll pay in full.
Oh, I'll pay in
Christoph.
full, Christopher.
Yeah, sorry.
I was the one who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high.
Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about?
Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him now.
You gotta push the other statements, I guess.
No, we've pressed everything.
Did we actually?
Unless I don't know if we pressed the.
I don't think we pressed
Updated.
everything. Why in the bottle?
I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I used to entrapment, you see. I knew it was coming.
Oh ho, so you struck first. I like that.
I know every trick in a book. They don't work on me.
At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't. So he made two calls.
Wait a minute. He said he made another call to Gavin, but he would have to gone back upstairs again.
Yeah.
He would have to leave the scene again. I don't know. I don't think we have anything that specifies calls can't be made from basement.
The thing is, he also said there was blood streaming from his forehead, but his head is not fully covered in blood either.
Sometimes they're not perfect with that. Like, then there's also this. Like, if Phoenix walked in on this, you wouldn't see it.
That's exactly what I mean.
Also, maybe we can also call it the fact that there's no cap on this bottle in the picture, or unless it's because it looks like there's no cap on that bottle.
She's also not in the dealer's chair, knocked out. But she woke up, right?
Well, we don't know for sure. But also, it like from the ways it's kind of where it's like he might not have been in a chair when she was hit, because they were up checking Phoenix for a card.
Yeah, it said he was uncontrollable. He goes upstairs and makes the call. Something happens. He goes back down, sees him blood streaming from the forehead, and then he has to go back and make another call at some point.
This is weird, but I'm not exactly sure what it wants us to do here.
I would say my best guess is the blood streaming from the forehead, from a cut on his forehead.
I feel like maybe it's the bottle, because the bottle doesn't have blood.
It was a blunt force trauma, though, and there's a cut. That seems different.
Well, you can cause a blood with a hit, but the loss of blood wouldn't be a problem, because you'd still die from the fracture on the head. But, like, wouldn't there be blood on the bottle? Wait, maybe it's this? Because if this is how the scene was found, like, when did the hat's on his head? So, like, Phoenix wouldn't be able to see.
It has to be that.
Maybe it's this? It's like, how?
There's no visual of it.
Let's try it.
Objection!
Hey, we got it.
Mr. Wright, if I may.
Yes.
Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think that you could see blood on his forehead.
Good point. Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. He's really wanting us like, hey, defend me harder. Call him a liar harder. Come on.
Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court?
Forgot to mention something. I was the one to put a hat on his head.
Why?
Why?
Eh?
You.
You put a hat on a dead man's head.
He wore it through the entire poker game. To call in the police when I returned to the scene. His head was in full view. Shining bright, just like this photograph.
And?
Picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head. What? Why would you do such a thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. That's the only thing I touched at the crime scene.
So, Missa really didn't see it. It, being the victims, or his head.
I think not. He was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Ah, here we go again.
Mr. Gavin?
Ahem. Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Now, that's not
Hey,
something
he's still
a
our
defense
client.
attorney would say. No defense attorney would say that out loud.
True.
I believe that's enough of that.
Mr. Gavin?
The witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Oh? Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Christopher. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone.
Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it is now or never.
Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here.
Eh?
When I noticed a trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well.
A reason?
The reason is right here.
It's in the phone. So the 5's not in the phone. Your cell phone.
That night, recall that I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. Ooh, he pulled a Maya. What's this? Now that we're all here, I saw no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Wait, we heard this call at the beginning of the game. I don't remember what specifically it said, but did Gavin make a reference to it? Christopher, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game's not gone well? Something like that. The gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? How does Christopher know who we played against? Wait, because if Chris left 5 minutes before the guy got here,
He would have met.
How did Christopher know? Wait a minute. He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. You mean someone cracked the Flood's bone and chin it?
Dumbass. Absolute dumbass.
Christopher straight up just admitted it. He's like, oh yeah, he had a crack on his head. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Also, so this would mean at this point, Christopher is either back up on the first floor, or gone, or he had left when Phoenix went back downstairs and saw it, and Phoenix had to come back up to call Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
What? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please. The cop should be here any minute. I'm in your hands, should it come to that.
Bone china plate.
Kind of porcelain. Very smooth and shiny. And not plate or pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead.
The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bowl Club.
Most certainly.
Then how did he know? When did he see his bone china plate? Pate. Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
That's when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come to know your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason? The reason why you put the victim's hat back on? Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it? Phoenix, right? So Phoenix put the hat back on, so that way when the crime scene photo was taken, the hat was on so you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
So that would prove like, it's like how do it, like, oh, you just look at that photo because the picture of the guy's head didn't come up until later on in the trial. And Gavin had made these comments long beforehand. So how did Gavin know?
Order. I will have order. Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear the defense attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, as a prosecutor,
That'd be weird. Like, very well, we'll break for 10 minutes. After which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Very well, this will be the final recess for the day.
This is a first case, man.
It's a long one, too.
Not as long as Greatest Attorney 1.
Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Just him himself. Who would have thought today would turn out like this?
May I? Otter!
What? What? Hello, sir. Please pick a card. What's all this about?
She has
is
the
this one
card.
okay?
She went and found the card.
Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it.
There's where the title comes in. Turnabout Trump.
A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely and the game is yours. That's all.
There it
And
is.
hey, so where do I remember that card from?
There's blood on it too.
Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It's 5 aces in all. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. The missing 5th ace. Wait, this blotch of red. Is this blood? You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth.
Okay, first question, where did she get that? Second question, we need to verify the blood on it. We have a lot of questions. We don't know where she got this. We can't verify this actually came from the bottle.
I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl, I'd seen her recently, but where? In the locket, bro. That's when I made the connection.
Her outfit's slightly different, but it's definitely her.